Guys, I just want to let you guys know that we literally were we did 10 minutes of the recording and it wasn't recording. So you missed Harry's great Usher references. You missed all the banter at the beginning because I didn't press record.
Schoolboy. Wow. It's weird because in that first 10 minutes, Arteta popped in my living room and had a little chat with us as well, but he's had to go now. So there's so much content you guys won't see.
You missed because of me. I'm so sorry.
Within that recording, Harry even put in a transfer request. Was like, "Hey, this is too
I did
Bush League." Yeah. Literally, he said that. So I might have to join the ship because what's going on?
You guys.
I mean, this is like the Emery era, really, isn't it? This is like Emery era, just like disorganized, people not knowing their job roles. This is just.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting sacked in the morning, aren't I? That was a generational mistake right then. Sorry. At least we didn't get through the whole hour. Silver lining.
That's true.
Silver lining.
Yeah, that's true.
We only got about 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the intro again because I love the intro. And we'll just start over with one word. Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Cannon Club. Like I said, we've done all this already. And so we have to do it again. But at least it's a game that we want to talk about because Arsenal smashed West Ham 6-0. And it was the type of game that Arsenal, I feel like, needed. I feel like we built upon the Liverpool game. Remember, we said the Liverpool game doesn't matter if we don't beat West Ham. And we beat them. We beat them like they stole something. We gave them a whooping of a lifetime. It was sensational. Declan Rice scoring against his ex-team after all the shit that they talked over the summer. It was amazing. And so we're going to talk about everything. I'm so glad we only got 10 minutes in, you guys. Seriously. Oh my gosh. Yeah, generational mistake from me. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to do one word again because we have to. Harry, what's your one word to describe how you feel about Arsenal right now?
I'll go with a different word this time. I'm going to say seasoned. I feel like we're watching an elite team. So when I go see us away at West Ham and kind of turn it up and turn it on consistently for 90 minutes off the back of a really good victory against Liverpool, I feel like I'm now watching a big team. And I keep talking about us being happy that we're at the big boys table. And I feel like we have to sometimes pinch ourselves because we don't realise how good we are or we take things for granted. But yeah, I feel like I'm watching a seasoned team. And even though these players are young, when I look at body language and authority on the pitch, and I look at Saka winning a penalty, taking a penalty, then scoring a banger, and Trossard and Ødegaard, Rice, all these players stepping up, I'm just like, yeah, this gives me those Vieira vibes, that Gilberto, Omri, Perez vibes. It gives me that energy, that aura. Not saying we're there, but it feels like we're closer to that period. So yeah, I'm going to go with seasoned, #moist.
Seasoned, #moist. I love that. Femi, one more.
There's something in my mind that's saying vindicated, but I don't know if I want to use that word. Let's see. I'm gonna go complete. I'm gonna say complete. If I had a checklist of everything Arsenal fans complained about, I feel like I would have said bingo 8 times. You wanted the youth, we got you. You wanted goals, we got you. Set pieces, got you. Oh, you don't like set pieces? Don't worry. We have 3 open goals. We have open goals ready to go. Today was just it was to the point where I literally forgot that Kudus was playing. Not even joking. It got to a certain point where I was just kind of oh yeah, we're camped out, and every time they had some sort of counter, it was just I got some water. I was like, yeah, nothing's gonna really happen. We'll be fine. So I think it was just a complete performance and just kind of everything. I even got to see Trossard at false 9, which is something I haven't seen in a while, which was pretty nice. So yeah, I don't know why vindicated keeps coming to my head. I don't know, but complete.
I know you want to copy my homework, but you're not gonna be able to deliver it like me. Okay. So I'm gonna do vindicated because Femi is trying to copy my homework because I already said it because we already recorded this part. My one word is vindicated. Yeah, better than complete, right, guys? Much better than complete. So yeah, and I have notes, you guys. I may have not pressed record, but I have notes. So the reason why I said vindicated is because we have been speaking like Arsenal have been different for like 3 sections of the season, but pre Dubai, we just weren't scoring enough goals. But our problem was no longer creating chances or progressing the ball. And I feel like people were stuck there from like the first 6 games. And then we went through like a 10-game period where we were creating loads of chances. We just weren't scoring enough goals. And since Dubai, we've scored 16 goals in 4 games and we've only conceded 2. And in my opinion, the 2 goals that we conceded were more due to like our mistakes than anything. Everybody says that, but I truly do feel like they were mostly mistakes. So, Martinelli has 3 goals, Saka has 4, Trossard has 3, and Gabriel Jesus has 1. So the forwards are scoring. We're creating loads of chances. Rice and Havertz are on the pitch most of the time. And so, like we were saying before, it's not about Rice and Havertz being in the midfield. We are dominating the duels and all that type of stuff. So we're creating chances in different ways by nicking the ball up high and hitting teams that way instead of all the tiki-taka through the lines. We don't have to do that. We're already camped out in their half. It's not about progressing the ball anymore. We're beyond that. It's whether or not Arsenal are clinical enough in the right moments. And last 4 games, we've looked a lot more relaxed in front of goal and we're scoring a lot, which is great in multiple different ways, whether it's set pieces or open play. The goals are there. And so for me, I'm ecstatic about the progression from pre-Dubai to now. And I still feel like, some fans are always stuck in one era. They're stuck in why did we buy Kai Havertz? That is literally where they're stuck. They cannot move away from it. And we're beyond that. Like this individual conversation about whether or not Arsenal are good right now, whether or not we're in the title race, whether or not we're performing is kind of separate to me than like, oh my God, we spent 65 million on Havertz because I think Havertz played good today. I thought Havertz played good against Liverpool. So I'm happy. So I feel vindicated in that. And there's one player that I do want to talk about a little bit later when we do our like one player that I feel like has a lot to do with why I feel so vindicated. So listen, we have so many players that we could probably choose for players, but we'll hold off on that for a second. We'll do the players last individually, like our player of the game or whatever. But first, I want to do like your moment of the game. Doesn't necessarily have to be a goal, could just be like something. Harry, do you want to go first?
Yeah. I've got a
Yeah.
few moments. I think so. I really liked. Well, mine is kind of the goal, but I obviously loved the Declan Rice goal. But I loved the little bit of movement between Martinelli and Ben White before that goal. I love the composure from Ben White to relax and then play that pass. Obviously, Trossard and Erdi had a bit of confusion, but I think I thought Ben White today was brilliant, and I suppose my moment is kind of just giving Ben White some praise. I know we don't want to talk about players in detail, but I just feel like he is so worthy of recognition internationally, but it also seems so obvious that he's never going to get it, which feels really, really weird. But I'm totally okay with that. Like, I'm totally okay with that because a bit like when we know Saka is world class or class and other fans don't, it's like I know Ben White is top and we don't need Southgate to give him a throwaway cap to recognise that. And when he was inverting today, I was just like, oh, this is class. Like, this is class. You've got a great player. So my moment is just seeing Ben White just enjoy playing football, looking so calm and composed on the ball, and yeah, just taking it all in his stride. And if we go back 2 summers ago to his debut against Brentford, when Sky Sports were having a field day, and even our own fans were having a field day, throwing up stats about him not winning headers and whatnot. And you now look at him now, and it's like he's been at the club for 10 years. Like he's a Rolls Royce. He's cool. He's calm on the ball. So Ben White is is today's moment?
He's one of my favorite Mikel Arteta signings because I think the 50 million, you don't even think about it at all. It almost seems cheap in a way because of how versatile he is and how consistent and available he is and how he performs like at a 7 out of 8 almost every single game, except for when he's carrying a freaking injury, guys. Newsflash, if you have one leg, it's very hard to play well, and Ben clearly was dealing with some shit. I mean, how big of a boost has it been seeing Ben White like pre-Dubai now? And like, because his performances for me have been almost like pivotal in a way to us, like that uptick. How pivotal do you think he's been in the last like 4 games for us since coming back from Dubai? And this one in particular too.
Altogether, since she's been sensational. I've always
Yes.
I've been a big believer of Ben White since he's been here, but my biggest thing about him has always been his versatility, just being able to fit into whatever we need him to do and played at an above average, if not elite level every time, from his time from center back to then moving him to right back. And now, and what people hopefully they noticed today was solving the question of how do we progress the ball if we don't have Zinchenko or a passing LCM? I feel like that was kind of like the biggest issue we had, especially the Fulham game is like probably the only game this season where I was like, we deserve to lose this game. Like I saw nothing. We were progressing slow. We couldn't like,
Yeah.
and today taught me that, okay, our solution is Ben White inverting, almost kind of like reversing the setup. And seeing him as comfortable as he was on the ball, still being able to overlap in certain moments, he was just kind of the Swiss Army knife that like I've always known him to be. But it was like, it's not one of those typical, oh, he's Jordan Henderson, he's like a Swiss Army knife, so he's average in a bunch of areas. Like, no, he's very good in a lot of different things. And to see him be very comfortable in that inverted role, but still offer Saka as well as Odegaard kind of like that overlap when needed. For someone who didn't watch football and doesn't like watching football, he's a very intelligent football player. Like I don't get it. I don't know how he did it, but I love the guy, man. I love him.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like him inverting also really helped Kivior because it made sure that Kivior just had to like just clamp Kudus and keep it simple, which, like you said, against Fulham was probably like my biggest like Arteta with the F, because Kivior is not going to invert. Did we speak about this the other day when Harry was like, Kivior can only play one position barely, and like if you seen him at DM, like it was probably like a bad day or something. Like Kivior is very like at this moment kind of like a player that you want to keep it simple because Arteta's instructions and what he wants from his players is quite complex, especially at fullback. Ben White even said it himself that like as a fullback, you have to be a center back, a fullback, a midfielder, a winger. You have to be all these things, the number 10. And so Kivior can't do that, not right now at the very least. And so I actually thought Ben White taking the inverted part of the game allowed Kivior to keep it simple. And I actually thought Kivior had a good game today, all things considered, especially since I think a lot of us were kind of like, where the fuck is Tommy? Because Son played yesterday and Tommy's been back before him. So I'm surprised that Tommy wasn't even in the team, So I think a lot of us expected with Zinchenko out, Tommy to maybe play a part, but I thought Kivior, had a good showing. Probably could have had a goal, I thought he was good, and we're gonna need freaking everybody from now until the end of the season because if it wasn't apparent before the game or a couple weeks ago, we're gonna have consistent injuries. I just don't think we're gonna ever have that like full team that everybody's waiting on, where we're gonna have everyone back. There's always gonna be somebody out. So I was happy to see Kivior have a good game, and I think Ben White had quite a bit to do with that. Femi, what was your one moment of the game or your favorite moment of the game?
Favorite moment of the game. I would go the Rice goal. It was just kind of like the game was already feeling good, like, vibes. Like, once you're winning by like a certain amount, which is what I was used to last season. This year we haven't seen it as much. But once we get to a certain point where we're cruising, I'm on Twitter. Like I'm kind of like not really watching the game anymore. I'm like, ah ha ha ha. And then I look up and then I see Declan Rice load up the shot, and I'm like, and then it goes in, and I'm like, if I can find the tweet, I was literally in the midst of tweeting something else, and then the rest was just gibberish because it blew me away. I was like, yeah, no, this isn't real. I am dreaming. 6-0 against West Ham after the pressures of Liverpool, and for him to score a goal like that after the last time he played them, he conceded a pen. Yeah. It just felt I don't know. It was just that moment that was kind of like, yeah. You guys wanted to boo him. You suck on that. Suck on that. That was beautiful. And he ends the game with a goal and two assists. Oh, no. Great game.
Yeah.
Great game.
It was a suck on that moment. It was definitely a suck on that. Yeah, I want to say something else, but I'll keep it PG. But it was very much here it is.
For real. And it was a classy one too, because obviously he's not gonna like celebrate or do anything extra because he was there for so long or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he will be in a group chat later saying like, so listen, we slapped you. Because I know he's still in those group chats. Let's be serious, you know? And so I think that's a really good moment for him because like Femi said, like it was probably his worst game in an Arsenal shirt against West Ham at home. And he's rectified that. It almost felt as though as long as you have Declan Rice, you're never gonna win another game against West Ham. And today we slapped them up, and he was fantastic. And again, people have been really critical of Declan Rice. You know, he doesn't pass like Partey, doesn't do this like Partey, but we're scoring loads of goals without having that player in our team still. So I just don't think Arsenal's problem is that Declan Rice is not like Thomas Partey. We just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And what a goal that was.
He's got 4 goals. Sorry, he's got 4 goals this season, Declan Rice, though.
Yeah.
Like 4 goals. So that's a good amount. So if he carries on, you'll probably see him maybe get 5 or 6 goals this season.
And that's a lot for PM type player.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And you talk about like Declan Rice and being hated by West Ham, you're probably right. And he probably said this in the group chat because he's probably admin of the group chat. So West Ham players are probably trying to leave the group chat, and he just keeps inviting them back. And he's going to be doing that today. They would have all left. They'd be like, hey, no, look at this goal. Watch this goal again. Declan Rice, I said it on a stream earlier, but so I will repeat myself.
Earlier.
Yeah. But for me, Declan Rice is everything you want in a midfielder. And he has elements of Vieira, Rodri, Steven Gerrard. He has it all. And it's just up to us how we use him and how we utilize him. But that David Beckham-esque whip for the free kick, for the goal, like the way he drives through the middle of the pitch like a Vieira, or the way he can sit and hold like a Rodri, the way he kind of does that tackling thing where he tackles and he still comes away with the ball.
Yeah.
Like this is reminiscent of some of the greatest midfielders. And I think because Declan Rice had a career at West Ham, which wasn't maybe celebrated as much, and because he started off as a centre-back and came through, he got pigeonholed into the CDM player. But he's so much more than that. He can do everything. And if all of the players around him are popping it off like today, then you'll see another side to Declan Rice where he can enjoy the game and worry less about what's going on behind him and worry more about what's going on in front of him. And when you have elite players in every position and everyone performing at 8s, 9s out of 10s, those special players like a Rice, like a Saka, they'll just show what they're about. And yeah, for Rice to do that today at West Ham, and just like the corner and the free kick before and then the goal. I mean, you've went to your old club and you've left with 2 assists and an absolute screamer, and you've got taken off in like the 65th minute or whenever it was for El Neni. It's like, man, you're basically just telling everyone to fuck off. It's class, absolute class.
And his best replacement got hooked. Remember, Alvarez is so just like Declan Rice, and so we've done so well. Shut up. Period.
Yeah.
Alvarez got hooked, okay, because he wasn't doing anything. Declan Rice is clear of everybody that they brought in. And like, I know that they have to live in their own level of delusion of like, you know, and they did do well in the transfer window with the money, but Declan Rice is like a world-class player and we've got him. And now you have to watch him play in the red and white. So have fun. You know, I cannot wait for him to lift the first trophy. I cannot freaking wait. I cannot wait because it's going to be amazing. Because I think maybe it's just the gas after the game, but I do think Declan Rice is going to be pivotal to us winning trophies. I think he does help us bridge the gap between us and the top teams. I think we've been unlucky in certain moments where, you know, maybe we haven't played at our best, but had we had just won even just one more game, the conversation around Arsenal would be so different because we're right in the mix. We really are. It's one game, probably the Fulham fucking game, you know? So it is what it is. But my moment is probably Saliba's goal, because, and I think Femi and I have spoken about this on Twitter maybe once, but I think the breakthrough goal is always, like, to me, a little bit more valuable than the other goals, just because it helps change the narrative of the game. Saliba's goal, one, I love that for him because, like I said, he's been making some mistakes, and it was nice to see him kind of like almost like rectify it a little bit. Not like he had to do a lot of rectifying, but you know what I mean. The goal was fantastic. It was a really good header from him off of the corner, but it broke the game open and meant that West Ham had to now start to open up a little bit more. It shook them. That goal that they conceded from there, like the whole, we're so stout at the back and we're going to throw all our guys at the back and do the wall. No, it was done. Like, they were rattled after that, you know? And so Saliba's goal for me, for multiple reasons, I feel like we needed that at that time. And then the floodgates just opened from there. West Ham had to open up a little bit. They became rattled because this is a team that's supposed to be good on set pieces and conceded on 3 set pieces. Well, 2 corners. So I love that for Saliba. I think, you know, Saliba obviously is like a fantastic player. And like, even though I said that, I felt like he was going through a little bad patch. Great goal, great breakthrough goal. And that opened up the floodgates for Arsenal to just absolutely pound them to the ground. And yeah, so I love it. That was my favorite moment. It definitely was. Probably second favorite moment would be Saka's goal, just because of how emphatic it was. That was like a fuck you goal. It really was. And
Yeah.
like, honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know who you guys are going to choose for your person. Is anybody choosing Saka? Okay. Maybe
No, I won't.
Femi is saying that he's going to choose Saka because I don't know. Okay. So let's, since you guys weren't going to choose Saka, I think I will choose Saka for my player because I'm going to choose 2. I don't give a fuck. It's my show. Saka. What? Like, we have so many players to talk about. Are you guys, is anybody else going to choose Odegaard? No, I know neither of you guys are choosing Odegaard.
You don't know that.
But you guys don't like Odegaard like I do. I'm pretty sure you guys forgot about
Whoa. I really like Odegaard. I'm very much part of the
Add defamation
ODL.
to like
Yeah.
the things you've done today, man. Wow.
I know. I'm on one. I know I am.
The player I'm backing, his name begins with a C, so don't want to be a spoiler alert, but yeah.
Last name?
No, first name. I call him by first name. It's a bit like Ronaldo or Pele. Some players you just call them by the first name.
Wait, I'm really like who?
Well, more fool to you, because if you don't know who I'm talking about, then you should really.
Oh my gosh, I know exactly who you're gonna talk about. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I know who you're gonna talk about. But let's talk. We have to talk about Saka because Saka, I felt like from minute 1 was on their necks. The performance that he put in for me was like a very aggressive one from minute 1, because West Ham were also trying to be aggressive. They were trying to be physical. They were trying to do their nonsense like on the counterattack. But Saka was doing like a lot of like picking the ball off of players and being direct with his dribbling and going at them. And he was giving them a really hard time. And I know that he missed 2 chances, the header and the little dink, but he still scored 2 goals. And I felt like his overall performance was top tier. We're also talking about somebody who has 100 goal involvements for Arsenal in 200 games as a 22-year-old. We're talking about the youngest player to reach 50 goals for Arsenal. Like, the conversations that Saka is involved in actually is like, should be defamation. It should be slander. Having him in the same conversation as Michael Olise, who I do rate, but like, let's be freaking for real, you know? Cole Palmer. Yeah, no. So Saka's in a league of his own. And I get that, like, earlier on in the season, he wasn't maybe performing at his best, but post Dubai, we are seeing Saka's burst come back. We're seeing his ferocity come back. We're seeing all that stuff. And so I actually thought his redemption penalty was good. That goal that he scored, obviously West Ham were already dead and buried. But one of the things that I've always kind of like criticized Arsenal for doing is once they get the 2 goals, they kind of are like, oh, okay, that's fine. But even like that 5th goal, it was like unnecessary. We didn't have to score more goals, but it was like, fuck you, boom. Like, he hit it so hard and it made them look so pathetic. And I loved it, every moment of it. So I feel like for Saka, it probably like other people will talk about Rice and Trossard and all these other players, but I just feel like Saka just leads us in a way that like doesn't get mentioned enough because maybe he's not a striker, maybe he is young, but he was fantastic today, for me. So I thought he was awesome. Anybody want to add on to that? Onto the Saka combo? Femi?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'll go first, Femi. Sorry, you have to wait because I spoke first. Sorry. That's the way it goes, mate. Got to be quick off the mark. Got to be
Bullying.
quick. No, just no. Like you say, I'm not sure if you've seen his post-match interview, but he was actually quite surprised, I think, to get man of the match because he said he missed a few chances. So I suppose it's all about now for him is to maintain this consistency and then take that game to the next level. So add those headers. So I think that's 2 headers now in consecutive weeks where he could have scored. So then you're talking about almost going into those Salah numbers. And if you can get there by like 23, 24 years old, getting like 20 plus goals a season, then it's madness. And I suppose a lot of us, we feel like we have to defend Saka because he doesn't get the plaudits from rival fans. But then I think to myself, well, that's probably just trivial, like jovial fans not giving a player credit because they're almost a little bit jealous. And if you liken it to someone like Salah, there's probably questions over Salah's like over ability by some fans because he doesn't get you off the edge of his seat or he's not like a convincing dribbler. You hear sometimes Salah not getting the credit he maybe deserves. And you could probably apply the same logic to Saka because he's not a step over winger, and he's not out here doing tricks and he doesn't carry himself publicly like a typical footballer, flaunting what he's wearing and cars and all that sort of stuff that people almost affiliate to being like a celebrity or an icon. Because he doesn't do any of that and he just goes under the radar about his business. Probably doesn't get the plaudits that he deserves. But ask any Arsenal fan and we all know how valuable he is. Mm-hmm. And to do what he's done 3 years running now, I think it's 10 plus goals. I think he's got 11 now or 10.
He has 10 goals and 7 assists in the Premier League, 13 goals and 12 assists in all comps.
And he got 14 in the Premier League last season. Is that right? 14? Yeah.
I'll check. Keep talking.
Yeah, so I feel like he's on course to beat that. And this is someone, myself included, where we've kind of spoken about an indifferent season from Saka. But it just shows you the numbers that he produces almost week in, week out. Yeah, so like he's up there again. And it's not easy to do, as Martinelli showed. It's not easy to replicate those numbers. You do go through dips, but he still manages to get those tap-ins when he goes through a dip. And today we saw like a confident Saka. And like you say, the second goal for Saka is what it's all about for me, because that's like a confident Saka, like drop the shoulder, reverse, bang, keeper had no chance, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the Saka we know. Then you take him off, 20 minutes to go, have a little rest. Do you know what I mean? That's where we need to be. So yeah, big love to Saka, beautiful man, beautiful human being.
Your turn, Femi.
Saka is amazing, which is funny because like people are doing the whole like, oh yeah, Saka's dyed his hair back to black, so he's going to pop off. And in my head, I'm like, come on, that's so superstitious. No way. And then here he is popping off now that his hair is black. So
no more hair dye. I'm sorry.
It's crazy because the same thing happened to Ben White, where I was like, oh, it must be a coincidence, guys. But like now it's getting kind of weird. But outside of that, it's crazy because it was like his goal that he scored, not the pen, because he scored 2. It's so crazy because it's like I knew, the defender knew, everyone knew he was going to cut inside. Everyone knew, but it's like to know it's going to happen and for it to still happen in like the consistency he does it, and now he's adding that final like, no, like I'm going to make you pay because you allowed me to cut inside. It's like we're watching, like if you don't think he's world class now, that's perfectly fine. I really don't care what you think, but like the type of special player we have, it's the type of poise he has. Like it's just unheard of for a 22-year-old. Like it just doesn't make sense. And the more I watch him, the more I watch him grow. It's like I can't. I was having a conversation with one of my friends. Is like, yo, like we have this, younger kid image of Saka in our heads, but it's like this guy's going to be like 25 one day, 26, 27. Like, what is that player going to look like if he's playing like this now? Like, it's just, we're so lucky. We're so lucky. We're so lucky, man. We're so lucky.
Yeah. And like that's the thing is only one academy player is probably going to make it. Like that's the thing, and like the whole group that we had, only one of them is probably going to make it, and that's Saka. And that's just
Mm.
what it is, and maybe that'll be Ethan Awari, because he didn't look out of place at all. I'm not trying to put any like pressure or whatever, but seeing him come on, you're like, okay, maybe he'll be like the next Saka. But you only get one, and they save you loads of cash because if you wanted to buy a Saka now, you'd have to pay an arm and a fucking leg. And you still wouldn't get it because there is no other Saka out there. The only other players to me that are on his level, that are around his age, are Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo, and that is it. Everybody else is pretty much on another level down. So that's the standard. That's the standard, and Saka is doing it. So, yeah, I think Saka definitely doesn't get a lot of respect from rivals, mostly through jealousy. But I also feel like we're just very defensive around Saka because he started off this whole like new generation of Arsenal, like this new vibe that we have going on. And so he's special in everybody's hearts and all that kind of stuff. I don't even want to begin to start thinking about him at like 25, 27, whatever. Like, no. Gabrielle is 26.
Yeah, that's quite weird, isn't it? That's scary
Yes.
when you think about it.
It is, because he came to us when he was 22. So I don't even want to
Yeah.
start thinking about the nonsense, but he will. Saka will be 22, or not 22, 25, 27, whatever. But that player could be scary. Injuries, like as long as there's no injuries, like I think we're just hoping that he continues on with good fitness and all that type of stuff. But he was fantastic today. He really was, just like everybody else, except for there's probably like one player that I don't think was that great, but we won't dim the vibes. Like we won't do it. We won't do it.
Who? I would like
I'm
to know this name.
I'm not gonna
Substitute, are you talking about?
no.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I feel like it's
What does it begin with?
I could say first. What his first name?
How many
First
letters
name-
is in the first name?
it's
One.
somebody that has a first name that maybe a couple people in this team have.
Yeah, Gabriel
Okay.
Martinelli. You're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a little bit quiet.
I don't want to
today.
dim the vibes. Like it
No.
wasn't that
Wow.
bad.
But you know what, though,
I
like-
actually don't agree. Wow.
Well, you
No.
have to stop agreeing because now you've been pinned as the
Yeah,
Martinelli.
it's true. I'd say the thing is, like, I don't mind players having a quiet game. I
True.
don't like it when players are a hindrance to the team, and he wasn't a hindrance to the team. And I'd apply the same to Havertz. Even when Havertz like isn't playing remarkably well, I never feel like he's a hindrance. Like he doesn't give away the ball or doesn't appear to be lazy. So for me,
Yeah.
Martinelli, okay, yeah, he wasn't popping off like I would have hoped, but he still gave Kufau a tough time. And there was a few times when Kufau was kind of begging for a breather and begging for some help. But I know what you're saying. He didn't have that goal or assist to really make it work.
Yeah, that's all it was. It wasn't anything
Yeah.
like, and some people were telling me that on rewatch it'll be different, and so I'm like, okay, cool, it'll be different. Who's next for their player? I think it's Femi.
It's so crazy because my person is Martinelli. Like, funny enough, ironically.
Look at
Lies.
this.
Ironically.
Yeah,
You see how he
He's
finished
lying.
this
He's lying.
goal?
He's lying. He's
Go ahead.
lying. It's not true. He didn't.
Okay.
Show me the piece of paper where it says Martinelli. Show me. Yeah. So yeah, look, lies.
See, the real person.
Got him.
The real person was Kai, but like I'm just gonna let it rock. But only because I want to like really talk through. I really did actually like Martinelli's because it's like I feel like Martinelli's biggest issue this season for me has kind of been decision making, when to do what, and I felt like he chose multiple times this game to not, I wouldn't say take the backseat, but it was almost kind of like let the game kind of come to the team versus like I'm going to force my way down the left side. And there was one specific pass he made where I think was it the Saka header? I don't know what he did, but it was a ball over the top, and I was like, okay, signature Martinelli. He recognizes the double team, and then he cuts the ball like into like the path of like two of our players, and I'm like, this is what I've been asking for. I don't care for all the other like I feel like he pressed his man well. I felt like he did a lot of the dirty work. Like he snuffed out a lot of counter-attacking options from that side as well, helping Kiwi on that side. So I don't know. Like I personally, like I just want a team filled with players who work together. And I think this was one of his better games of just kind of allowing the game to really just come to him. And I feel like with that, goals and assists will start coming from that, and he just starts evolving. So again, I know it sounds like I'm pandering, but like I just want Martinelli to be a better decision maker. That's all I've wanted. And today I think he showed everything for that. And he's him and Havertz are both very unlucky to not have assists for this game, because they were really like putting like literally like putting on the plate for
Martinelli
some
was
of the
robbed of an
players.
assist because Trossard got greedy. So
Mhm.
he
So
did. Got greedy.
so if not that, then my original person would be Havertz. But like just off the typical, like if you don't win duels, you don't win games. I'm sorry, and I will continue to be a duel like advocate. Like he was all over the place in this game today. And yeah, no goal, no assists. Very sad. There was one moment where I'm like, oh, we finally got the assist, but again, just fluffed it. But outside of that, no, those two players for me are my two people, not like the best of the best, but people that like I want to make sure that I give kudos to.
I find it funny how no one's going to probably talk about Trossard, and he definitely was somebody that should be spoken about, but I see that you took the time to waste it on Havertz and Martinelli, and that's fine, that's fine. Harry, you're one person, you're one player.
I
Look,
have to go
like you say,
Trossard now.
it could have been many. So I don't want to talk about Declan Rice too much because I feel like I could do that forever, and it will turn into the Declan Rice
Same.
appreciation podcast. But I'll give a special mention to David Raya, and I know it might sound random, but there were some times when his positions, like in possession, were just mad. Like he was like level with Gabriel, like on the left-hand side of the 18-yard box at one point.
Yep.
Like not even behind Gabriel, like level, saying, "Yeah, pass me the ball and we'll go again." And it might seem like nothing, and it might seem really, really simple, but we suffocated West Ham for so many periods of that game. And we spoke a minute ago about them meant to be prolific in set pieces, but they weren't because they never had the ball. They had two corners in the game and like 21% possession or 29% possession because we just dominated and recycled the ball so well. And that starts at the back. And the difference between Raya and Ramsdale is the confidence that Raya does it in and the speed. And he has no hesitation with taking the ball in uncomfortable positions on his left foot, right foot, and he's so comfortable on the ball he can move it either side and play a pass. So obviously, he didn't have much to do in the goal, but when it comes to being an outfield player, which essentially is what he is in possession, I thought he was really, really good, and he just allowed us to dominate that game from minute one. So yeah, I'll give a special mention to David Raya.
Listen, it wasn't too long ago where I feel like Laura was on the show too, and I asked you guys, would you make him permanent? We already knew it was going to be permanent, but like if you were, the director of football, would you do it? And I think most of us kind of said that like he's going to be permanent. He's been okay, but it hasn't been amazing. But I feel like he's been good since Luton. I do. I feel like Luton, he chucked it into his own net, whatever. And we survived it. But since then, I feel like he's been really good, and he's showing the reason why we have him. That those positions that he's taking up, I just cannot see Ramsdale playing those positions. I can't see it. He's very proactive. He collects crosses. He does all those things, and he deserved the clean sheet today. And so I definitely agree with you on that one, 110%. Did you have another one too? A special mention to Ryan.
Special mention. Yeah, special mention to Rice. I thought Erdegaard was class. Just overall, I think the way that Havertz and Erdegaard played 90 minutes but managed like the last 30 minutes so well. It's like Erdegaard was only trying in some moments. And I love that. Not in terms of his effort drop, but it's like, right, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to play a through ball. And now we're just going to keep possession, go side to side. And then I'm going to play another through ball. So I feel like today was one of those games where you see like the best versions of our creative players. And Erdegaard today was just some of the controlling tight spaces. There was a part, maybe was it in the second half or the first half? Second half, when I think he had Ward-Prowse. He had three players in and around him, and he just ran the ball down the line. And without like even really doing anything, just a few body feints, he managed to usher the ball about 20 yards down the line. And I was like, that's so class. No skill, no pace, no power, just positioning your body, drawing players in, keeping hold of the ball. And I was like, the man's silky. And earlier you mentioned about us being surprised that Ben White was such a good signing, maybe, and the 50 millions felt like quite a big fee. But if anything, I think when I see players who I don't know too much of, I knew of Odegaard, but maybe in his first season at Arsenal, I wasn't convinced. But when I see Arteta put down the cash for like 50 million for Ben White, that for Odegaard, that amount for Raya, for me, it's a case of trusting the manager and thinking these players are obviously good enough. We just have to give them time. And do we have the patience to give them enough time? And I think with Odegaard, that's a prime example. Like elite player, elite mentality. Yeah.
Remember
Top stuff.
Odegaard, like probably his one standout game in his loan was
West
actually
Ham away.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3-0 down.
Yeah.
That's when he did like the player cam, wasn't it? Or the mic. They did the thing where they.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
And
mic'd up.
I know we can't do it anymore because of
Yeah.
because it's
Oh
not
yeah, of course.
then.
Do you know who else had a great game that game? Cadam Chambers was also class. But anyway.
That's Callum Chambers was like the rough draft of Ben White. It was just a rough draft.
Yeah.
It's exactly what
It
Arteta
was.
wanted, but he needed a better player to do it. I love Callum Chambers. I mean, it is what it is, but he was the rough draft. Like a lot of the players that we have now are actually had a rough draft, you know?
That's such a good example. Yeah, Cadam Chambers was Ben White in the past life. Yes, good example. That is very good.
But that was Odie's like one standout game in his loan, which was the West Ham away, and actually him and Thomas Partey were amazing in that game. I think Lacazette also was good, which was rare. But Odegaard in the last 11 games has 11 big chances and 46 chances created. And he's the only player in Europe's top 5 leagues to have 50 plus chances created. So this season. So again, when we say a player is not creative or players going through like a bad run of form, when it's a player like Odegaard, I just feel like, can we not? Because these are like elite numbers. The only reason why he doesn't have better stats, some of it is his own doing with the shots. He takes too long to take shots. But when it comes to the assists, it's mostly based on the fact that his teammates are not putting the ball in the back of the net. And today they did, so he got 2 assists. But I feel like Odegaard is in flow. He's in that period where he can kind of do anything. And everything looks easy. It doesn't look like a struggle. He's not forcing, he's looking like himself. So I'm happy because again, like without him, I just don't think we can do the things that we want to do. I pulled up this thing that I saw that somebody did like the statistics about Odegaard's growing influence since the start of December. And Arsenal ranked 12th for open play expected goals, like in late November. And now Arsenal, like since the last 10 Premier League games, Arsenal ranked first in open play XG generated. And that all coincides with Odegaard's busted hip not being a problem anymore. And so I'm happy to see it because obviously I'm a huge Odegaard fan, but we're not going to do any of the things that we want to do this season without him. Same with Saka. So you want to see these players do good, and I love that. I love that Odegaard is starting to like really look like himself. And I thought he was class today. I thought Trossard was really good as well. We're now calling him Sleepy Messi. And that's like that's the only name I'm going to call him now from now on is Sleepy Messi, because he looks like he hasn't gotten sleep since, for a decade. But when he turns it on, he just looks like a typical Arsenal player. I feel like Arsene Wenger would love him, would absolutely love this player because he can play across the front 3. He can play false 9 really well, but he's just a technical, guy. And I thought some of his passing today was great. Some of his shot was good. He missed some earlier chances, but I thought he was fantastic. Any words on Trossard?
Oh my God, I was so excited. Haha, got there first. Honestly speaking, it was I wish that you said this moment is the moment first. It's a pass that I don't think any of our other strikers have in their locker, which was the pass that led to the Saka pen, where he just on the ball, switched it one time, and then pop right over the top. And it's like, I remember again, because of the fact that we're up, I'm on Twitter, I looked up, the ball was in the air. So I'm like, who made that pass? Was it Rice? Was it, and for it to be Trossard to make that pass, but also was part of the team that was, that was on the score sheet. Yeah, no. This guy did it all today.
Yeah, he's so important to the team too because he's what people would consider a squad guy, so he's not naturally in the starting front three, but he makes sure that it doesn't drop off. Um, and I'm so happy that Arteta has finally realized that he's the one to use, because earlier on in the season, wasn't sure he was getting that right. I feel like now
The
he's getting
the lineup was spot on today, though, right? Just the fact
it.
that we didn't play into their hands, which would be to play Havertz up front and kind of constantly hit crosses. The fact that we had Trossard being mobile in that pocket, and yeah,
What was that?
I see some Reese's chocolate there, right? Yeah,
Oh,
nice. Oh.
I love that.
Yeah, just to go back to Raya as well, I might be wrong, but I'm just looking at his stats from today's game, and it says that out of a possible 21 passes, he made 21 accurate passes, so 100% pass completion,
Let's
which is
go.
pretty
from a
which is
keeper.
pretty from a goalkeeper, which is pretty banging. But yeah, back to Trossard, really good performance. I keep saying it, so I don't want to repeat myself, but at crunch time, this is what it's about. Squad players coming in, doing a job, scoring
Business.
goals, getting assists, and this is what we need. And I feel like Trossard has that in him. I don't think we've actually seen that consistency in him too much this season or in general. I feel like there has been times where he's dropped off, but that was then, and now we're in crunch time. Just carry it on. So yeah, well done for scoring a goal. And it's good that we have, he's obviously not the same as Jesus, but someone kind of similar who can come in and do something, as opposed to Eddie Nketiah coming up front. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, good times. Well done, Trossard. And also eye gels. Get yourself some eye gels, and
but
then
powers
go.
are being sleepy.
Go get yourself some eye gels, and then go and see someone about some sort of, I don't know, maybe they can bleach, I don't know, do something to the skin, lighten up the tone a little bit, because he does look really, really tired.
He always looks like a raccoon, like he's been up for so long, but
that's why I thought that celebration existed from. I thought he was mocking his eyes at the start, but then didn't realize it was for his
What
kids.
is the celebration about?
He's looking for his kids in the stands.
That's it. Yeah, he's looking for his kids in the stands.
That's cute. That's cute. I'll take that.
That's cute.
Yeah, it is. I don't really, do any of our players have like any like iconic celebrations or anything that's like super?
Yeah, we have Bukayo Saka, who steals every single person's celebration.
I like that.
His celebration is stealing other people's celebration, which I love. I'm trying to think.
No, we don't.
They need to work on that.
Just Trossard. Just
so many
Trossard.
goals now.
Well, Havertz has that weird thing.
Nketiah and Jesus.
Oh,
yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. And Nketiah's is like, oh shit, phone's dead again. Oh shit, left my phone. And Jesus is like, can you call the physio again, because I've injured myself again. So yeah, but we need like a Bellingham celebration, right? Or
we need
yeah, I don't know what it could be. I don't like dances and stuff. I don't like all the dancing. So I'd like something more like, just more like a statement. Like
I wonder if that'll come like whenever we get like our whatever striker we're gonna get. That person will probably have like a good celebration. It's usually a striker that has one, or somebody that scores loads of goals. It's definitely.
I mean, Saka could definitely work on it if he could come up with a cool one. Then
it took
he's the guy,
it took Rashford how long to come up with the and he's been scoring loads of goals for years, so it takes time.
Now he stopped scoring though since he's done that. That's the thing. So maybe the key is not to have iconic celebrations, or just like classic knee slide, man. Give me those classic Henry knee slides.
I love those.
Do you know what I mean?
As long as you don't start backflipping like a Aubameyang, because every time he did that, I was like, oh my gosh, if you tweak your knee right now. Every time he did it, I got scared. I was like,
nah, the worst one was the Nuno Tavares one when he scored. That one, I remember he did it and he slid, but then he hit part and he just fell face forward, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh, that was like Sonogo in the Emirates Cup. Do you remember Sonogo when he kind of done that and he fell over? Yeah, I like those ones. My favourite celebration is many years ago, but Dennis Bergkamp. I think it was at Stoke away, and he scores an absolute screamer where he does like a pirouette and then bends it in, and then all of the players cover their mouth like this. And you see like Paul Merson, Nigel Winterburn do it. It's class. And the kit we were wearing was the yellow and blue Nike kit, which was like JVC, absolutely elite kit. Yeah, I like those celebrations. That's a great celebration. That is.
I miss
That's-
Lacazette's, man. I like Lacazette was like he was just
Oh, the
like,
handshake.
oh, the handshake was nice, but he also
So-
had this like dance that he used to do. Like, nah, I
Yeah,
love
he
that.
did.
Yeah.
He did have one.
To be fair, Lacazette and Aubameyang, that era, like under Emery, that was like good vibes. Like that, you know,
That
that
was
was
good
a
vibes.
yeah. We were very much the vibe team, and that was good fun. Like him and Aubameyang shaking hands and stuff. That was class. Like good times.
Yeah,
Just
like
don't ask us to defend.
Saka, didn't they do like a? They did something, or like they did. They used to have something. Somebody used to do
Who?
the little.
Oh
somebody
no!
used
Right now they do this thing where they like hook hands and like
Oh yeah,
hit their heads.
Yeah, they do
We
some
do
good
that.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Per
we need,
Mertesacker and Walcott used to do something at the end of games. I don't know if you remember. They used to like jump and give each other like a big chest. But
who?
obviously,
Per
Per
Mertesacker
Mer-
and
and
Theo
Walcott.
Lopez?
Yeah, that's why it was funny because
That's
obviously
wild.
Mertesacker was like a giant, and yeah, so at the end of the game they used to like jump and give each other a big chest. Yeah, that was
So,
quite
yeah.
good times.
Because I was talking to James, and James was like, I just believe that all of the Arsenal players, I feel like they watch our channels, and I'm like, okay, if you guys are watching this channel, I'm sure you're not, but if you are, come up with some good sellies, man. Come up with some good sellies, you guys. Seriously, we need some iconic sellies because you guys are gonna score some cool goals, and we need to make sure that we have it. Like, it can't just be like even Rice. Like, I'm tired of this. Whatever he does, that little it's like we need something else.
That's why I like Martinelli going to Brazil. Like I just get so annoyed. It's like you don't go to like the dance practices that they have. Like you don't go and like pick some of
No.
these things up. It's obviously not. Obviously not.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite like cringe moment celebrations for us was Odegaard last season. He scored and he tried to do Jesus's thing, and I was like, oh,
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
like this, and I was like,
Oh,
no.
no. Was it like a drunk uncle at a wedding
I'm gonna
vibe on
send
the
it
dance
to
floor?
you.
Was it
It
like
was
that?
so
Yeah.
cringe, but it was
Oh,
so
I don't
funny. I did
remember
like
that.
this one last season too, the little basketball. I love that. So you guys, if you're watching, you guys are gonna score loads of goals from now to the end of the season. So let's get the Sallies. Let's get them tightened up just a little bit. Tightened up just a little bit. You guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here because I'm about to go to brunch. Okay. Period.
And watch
So-
Nigeria win AFCON. That's what you're gonna do.
Am I?
No. Okay.
Am I?
I hope so. I hope we win.
You guys better win because the meltdown.
Oh no,
Nah.
I'll deactivate. I'm saying this for future reference. Now, so if you look for, I'm not joking. You get 30 days where it's like you can deactivate your page without it deleting everything. So yeah, no, if we lose, do not look for me for a week. I literally will not be on Twitter for a week. One
I
week.
feel like you'll still be on there.
I promise you, I'll be on my burner.
Nicholas Pepe
Yeah,
to
please.
score the winner. What do you reckon? What are the odds on that? Imagine that.
Oh yeah,
Imagine
I feel like you'd make more money if your bet was if he plays.
Damn.
Has he not played? I haven't been following AFCON too much.
He has not had any significant time. I'm pretty sure he has no GA in like 5 games. Like I don't think it's GA at all this AFCON. He's done nothing. But it's because they're not using him right. And he should be playing with more of an overlapping right winger, right
fullback.
back.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, Tactico. Okay. Okay. We got it. It's time for me to go get some French toast, you guys, and some mimosas. So, guys, let us know what you guys thought about the show. Listen, we're on the up. Hopefully, Arsenal keep it together. We have Burnley next, and then we have Porto. So we're on and popping. Make sure you guys like this, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, because this is on YouTube. You guys can also listen to this on Apple and Spotify and all that type of stuff. Make sure you guys let us know what you guys think. And we'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know what happened to Harry. He gone. But
Yeah, I'm
talk to
here.
you-
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't see.
Froze, yeah.
Bye, guys.